If you will, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Street, anybody signed up for public comment?
Yes, sir. There is no one here.
At this time, we'll go into closed session. We appreciate you being here, and we'll see you back about 7:15 or so.
That
Should be
works. For changes of context.
fine. Thank you. Sheree, will you bring the podium in just so somebody doesn't show up and think they can still sign up?
By somebody, do you mean anybody?
Yeah. At this point in time, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143(318.11)(a)(3) to consult with an attorney, employer retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged.
I'll make that motion.
Jim has made a motion. Mark seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll also invite Mr. Matt Kirchner into the closed session, as well as our attorney, Nick Tosca.
Good, how are y'all?
Good, how you doing?
Any better? I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
That's the spirit.
That's it.
Hold on to that thought.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this point, we are back in open session. There were no action taken in closed session, so there's nothing to report in there. In your packet, you had the minutes from the, it's not correct, the October 8th, you had the minutes from the
Did I
November.
say October?
No, I didn't.
No, okay.
From the November, you think that was 12,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
a
remember.
Regular that way too.
November 12th.
Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Mark's made a motion, Bruce seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
We need to amend the agenda or?
We haven't got there yet.
No.
Oh, you mean the,
To fix the date on that.
Oh, we both did.
Okay.
all right, the consent agenda was sent out and you have it before you as well. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda or does anyone want anything pulled from it?
Motion to approve.
Jim has made a motion to approve the consent agenda, Bruce second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Changes to the agenda, I would like to move 14A, which is waste collections, up to this point in time so that, or up to right after this. Kate from here? She's not
She's
back.
not, she's
That's
not back
fine.
in.
We'll move them up to right now and then we'll catch in case she comes back. So is there a motion to, does anybody want any other changes to the agenda?
I'll make a motion to change 14A after 8.
All right. Joe's made a motion, is there a second? Mark second, all those in favor, signify by saying
All
aye.
three of them.
Motion carries.
Just trying to think.
And we'll go straight to 14A. We'll,
Okay.
Jim, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, ask Waste Pro to come in here to address some of the problems that we were having, in Lake Park with, with the trash, with missing, not collecting, and open it up for any questions for them to ask, to the council to ask them. So I do know there is a councilman that is not here tonight. There's been a few occasions where his trash was not picked up one day to the next, but his neighbors was picked up, whether that was, so just, so we do have that in the village. And anyone else, comments, questions?
There's, the placement of trash cans after you've dumped them into the truck. Sometimes they're, I drove around, I delivered the villager once a month, and it just so happened that day was, the trash was done. And driving around the village, I actually had to get in my car 3 times because there was a car parked in the street, and there was a trash can between the other side of the street and the car. I had to get out and actually pull it over to the side. That doesn't happen often, but it certainly did that day, it seemed like it.
It seems like that has been something I've seen more lately, is the trash cans being put in the road, in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Or not in the middle, but off quite a bit.
Oh,
That's the
5
biggest
feet
thing.
from the curb.
Yeah, so that,
Yeah.
I've seen that. One thing that just irritates me, and it doesn't happen all that much, it happened a few weeks ago, is when they put it right in the middle of your driveway. You gotta get out of your car, move the trash can.
It almost appears that prior to this new contract, everything seemed to be a lot smoother as far as the pickups of the garbage, et cetera. And with the new contract, you want to say to yourself, gee, did everybody get fired and they brought in a whole new crew and they don't know one end of the road from the other?
Yeah, really changed.
You know, because that's what I'm hearing from a few folks in my neighborhood and around, you know, and then I know Thursday is the day that they come through, but then I know it's more than one occasion, I've seen a truck come through, and he leaves, and 45 minutes later, another truck comes through. Like he doesn't know what he's doing here, and he backs up and leaves. And then I see a third truck, which was white, not the green and the white truck came in, like, what am I doing here? And he turned around and left, so I'm like, who's putting out the marching orders?
So you've got 3 different trucks, and gentlemen, thank you. I appreciate you inviting us here for the meeting.
Oh, I got one more thing to say. You can stand if you like.
No, you stand, Mark.
Okay. Anyhow, back to the question of, before the contract, it was like Friday morning, Friday by, early afternoon, everything was pretty well done, picked up, da. Now I have a lot of people on the social pages, I run those for Lake Park. And a lot of people are complaining like, well, it's 4 o'clock on Thursday, my trash isn't picked up yet. And I'll say, just go with the, da. And presto, it shows up at 6 o'clock, it gets picked up. Or sometimes they'll say, I still got a refrigerator or no, whatever, dishwasher, whatever. A bulk item that's out there and it's like Friday morning, 11, 12, whatever. And they go, it's still out there. I says, just hang in there, give them the rest of the day and usually come by. But it used to all happen on Thursday, where now it's a lot of stuff is happening throughout Friday as well. And people are going, well, they picked up my neighbor's trash, like Jim said, and then my trash gets picked up on Friday type thing. It just frustrates them. Okay, you can say that.
You don't have to stand up, Ted, yeah.
No, it's all good. All right, so again, thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ted, I'm the division manager. This is Umberto. Umberto is our supervisor that's over all the residential. So here's what I heard. We've got a council member that we've missed a couple times. I would like to get that address so we can make sure we got it on the hot list, so we're on the lookout for it, right? So there's not any issues, and I'll get with Ms. Cherie on that address. Placement of cans, you're 100% correct. Our expectation is you guys are rear load, right? Everything we do is with a rear load, which means you have a helper and a driver that's on that truck. So when we're done with it, it should be pulled back to where it was, and it should be turned, right? It should be turned to where it's not sitting straight, it's parallel with the curb. What that does is that signifies to anybody that's driving around that the street's done, right? We know if we hit the can or if we didn't hit the can, right? It's a fail safe. It should never be in the middle of the driveway. Absolutely not. That's frustrating. They'll get in a hurry and then they'll sling a can, and they shouldn't do that. Absolutely not. It should be where it was, turn to the side, right? We have addressed that with the guys multiple times. You made a comment that we had a whole new crew in here. Well, you're not wrong. This year, I actually had to go through and do my turnover, and we've hired 83 people this year. Let 60 go. Yes, trash is not turnover. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna make excuses. It's not for everybody. So we are constantly training. We have somebody in training just about every week. We do our absolute best to have the same people, and I think we've done that for the last 3 months.
3 months here, we just keep the same crew coming in here.
Yeah, so the reason we had a change up is you guys know what happened in Western Carolina. I literally have 10 of our group that are up there helping out, and our Concord location has 7. So there's 17 people up there this week that's helping Western Carolina try to get back on its feet, right? Which what that does here is, now I've got all these new people that we're having to put in positions. Unfortunately, it was here, right? So we've got to train them the right way to do stuff. So we did in September and October. It was a rough month, and I can share with you. So what I have is the number of trackees that are entered. You guys know what the trackee system is where a resident or Ms. Cherie will call in or key that, hey, I have a bulk pickup, I need a new can, whatever it may be, right? And I can tell you that in July, we had 50 calls, 44 of them were about cans, right? So in July, we made the switch from the little cans, from the little recycle bins to actual cans. So July and August were heavy. We had 50 calls, 44 of them were about cans. In August, we had 85 calls, 78 were about cans. So I think we got all that cleaned up, and by September, we were back down. We only had 23 calls. 20 of them were about cans. October, we're down to 15. Last month, we only had 11 calls.
Yeah, ever since it was basically to the plan where the client, the residents just calling you direct.
100%, that's what we want.
That took care of that problem.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Jim and I had conversations, it's been a little while ago. You're seeing a lot of chatter about the Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
With access to that, I don't get to see that chatter. So unless they call in or have a trackee key, I don't hear that. I can't fix it. You know what I'm saying? If I know about it, I can fix it. It's trash. It's not that hard, I promise.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's not. I apologize that we had a little rough patch. There was a lot of stuff going on, and I'm not gonna make excuses. I feel like we have rectified it over the last 3 months. You guys tell me, are you still seeing cans out in the middle of the street now? Or are we looking back a few weeks ago, right? If you're seeing it, I want to know. Alberto wants to know. We pride ourselves in the service that we provide, not you, but just, everybody. But we did just sign a new contract with you guys, and we're very happy about that. And I don't want you to see a dip in service.
I will add that it has seemed to have gotten better.
Good.
I know that, my personal view has seen better, and I've seen less people complaining on your page about it, so it does seem to. And I will also say, to give you secret, I had, my house one time, they skipped me on yard waste and bulk, and, things happen, and I made a call, and they fixed it quick, so.
Mr. Reeves said you didn't pay your bill that day, so I'm sorry, we had to. I'm joking. One of the other things that we did is, one of the guys that I have that's in Western Carolina is our lead. He was the one that communicated with Ms. Cherie every time we were out here. I didn't realize that, it just didn't click. She and I had a conversation, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. So 3 months ago, we got Miss Anna A. We put her in charge of making sure that we're getting everything picked up, the communication with Ms. Cherie. We want to make sure that we're doing absolutely everything we can do. Please encourage everybody on that Facebook. Call, there's a trackee, it's created, right? I know what needs to be done. It comes to my email every time somebody keys one. And it's like, oh, okay, we gotta do this. So I can fix that. Chatter on Facebook, I can't touch it unless you invite me to it. Right?
Now, I've changed the phone system here where if you hit 6, it automatically forwards to you, but I can do it to your cell phone if you want.
You can.
No.
He's gonna get another cell phone.
Ted, one of the things that is on Facebook a lot is they put my recycle and my trash in the same truck, or they put my yard waste and trash in the same truck. Now, I've seen a truck that is split.
Okay.
What does that truck accept?
Both. So it can do trash and yard waste, it can do trash and recycle, It just depends what. our
Depending on
needs are
that
for
day,
that
what
day.
they're doing.
It is a split body, 60% is one side, 40% is the other side.
So this week it might be doing trash and recycling, next week it's doing trash and yard waste.
Yes. You made a comment about seeing 3 different trucks. Well, you have potentially a trash truck, a recycle truck, a yard waste truck, and a bulk truck. Right, so there could be 4 different trucks. They're coming down and maybe they turn around, maybe they're looking for yard waste. They don't see any yard waste, so they turn around and go back out. Same thing with bulk. They go down, they don't see any bulk, they turn around and go back out. I would like to think that they're not just driving around aimlessly.
No, I don't think they're driving around aimlessly. I mean, I haven't seen anything now, and since right around Thanksgiving time, so it was just a matter of reconnoitering in which direction am I supposed to be going,
Sure,
especially since you have a lot of new people,
we do.
you know, and you don't leave breadcrumbs. So they have to find their way around, but I haven't seen it in recent weeks.
Good, good.
Has the maps helped?
So speaking of that, the map that you have out there on the wall, I'm gonna steal it on the way out, the big picture.
That's fine.
That is,
If you give me a guarantee, you won't miss one.
I will do my absolute best, never to miss anything. You know that. Yes.
No,
map-
but there's
maps-
the maps that I sent you that you could print out.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But I took a picture of that. I want to get that recreated and hang it in my office. It's just a great reference point.
Yeah, I don't have any more of those, I'll be glad to.
We can get it. We can get it.
But I will do say, you know, going on with Bruce, I've seen, I live on my back alley in McKinley. And 99% of the time, they're always coming up one way. Every once in a while, they come back the other way, I'm like, okay. And
Same truck?
no, I have different weeks. I mean,
Okay.
90% each week they're coming this way, but every once in a while they drive down the other way. Okay, that's, no, whatever, it's,
Right.
they're picking it up. But I have had where one time picked up all my bulk, I left it, they haven't called, I left it there, they pick it up the next week, or 2 weeks later, I mean, it's, yeah, it's. Happens. I understand. some
If
things
it happens again, you have Oh,
Anything else?
How did you find 83 people to hire?
Believe it or
You
not.
don't have to answer that, I'm just, it blows my mind, you could.
When we post a job, let's say we post an ASL driver, I'll probably get 100 applications. It pays pretty well. I mean, we'll start out at $25 an hour. They will get around 50 hours a week. So I mean, they're gonna be making 75,000 easy. So yeah, it's a good job, but it's just not for everybody. I mean, I've done the route-based business my whole career. Coca-Cola was the same way. It's just hard to find people to do manual labor and in the extreme elements, right? When it's 100 degrees, you know, it's 115 on the pavement. It's hot, it's hard. Right now, we're in a really good time where it's not too cold, it's not too hot. It sucks when it rains, but you know, it is what it is. So we find good people. We do a lot of referrals. You know, we'll have a ton of referrals, which is good, right? If they're happy working there and they refer somebody.
That's great, because everybody I talk to has a hard time finding anybody to do anything nowadays, so.
I agree. And that's 83 for 2 locations. I apologize, not just for
Still.
Cool. What else you got?
Anything else?
I'm good.
I'm good.
We're good.
I enjoyed it.
Ted, thank you for coming. Bertha, nice to meet you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Councilman.
So we need to point on social media, we need to make sure we're pointing them to
Call,
option 6 here and getting it straight through to them.
Please.
Yeah.
please. I see the calls every day. I know exactly how many calls we get for Lake Park.
And I had no idea there was like 40 trucks.
Mhm.
And a lot of people make
Yeah,
a
so
comment
you're
on,
the-
hey, threw my yard waste in with the.
Why do I bother to recycle?
Right?
Yeah,
That's the biggest.
yeah, that's a
I
big.
got you. I got you. And that's fair.
You can put that in.
If they don't know, they don't know, right?
60-40. I'll make a little truck, a picture in the back of a truck.
But if you guys would ever see it go into a regular truck, call immediately, because that is not allowed. That is so frowned upon, and you will lose your job if we catch you. We call it mixing. But can't do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
Thank you,
Appreciate your
gentlemen.
time coming out.
Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Take care. Happy holidays.
Stay
You
safe.
too.
Thank you.
All right. Item 9, public safety report. No alarm activations last month, which was great, I guess.
Yeah.
It's first time ever.
55 general calls for service, 333 preventative patrols, 25 traffic stops, and 16 parking violations. And I just put the parking violations on there because there's been a lot of chatter on Facebook about parking violations, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're out, roaming the streets and doing their job.
Yeah.
And then 42 other self-initiated calls.
Yeah, then the one person said, I've been cited 3 times, but I never got no warning. Well, you think you would take the first citation as a warning?
Yeah, right. I will tell you that we did get an email, this week. We've got a new lieutenant over the contract deputies. James May is who's over that now. Sean Mayhew, I think is got a promotion or gonna get a promotion soon, so they're doing some reorganization at the sheriff's office. So Lieutenant May is now over our deputies. Finance officer report, Cheryl?
Okay, you have the November statements. There seems to be a little confusion with Union County on getting our motor vehicle tax and ad valorem tax. We're working with them right now to ensure that comes in promptly as scheduled. Otherwise, we did the budget amendment for the water sewer. And I don't have any other issues.
Any questions for Cheryl? Is it the deal with the county is seem to be getting worked out, or? is
I think so. The Union County, the contract said in the busy months, they would remit money twice a month, and they weren't doing that. We're doing it once a month. So
And we brought that to their attention, and then today they sent and wanted to be able to wire the money, which I don't know how they get it from themselves to our bank. But we had already, already do direct deposits into our account, and for example, in the last month, over $435,000 has come in for taxes that they're saying, well, we need to be able to wire it in, and Cheryl and I.
December 9th, we got like 400 and something.
Yeah, so it's like,
thousand. So we'll,
we will make it smoother, we will figure out what their problem is, and we're working on
I
it.
think what happened was the contract said that in the busy months, we would get it twice a month. But in practice, they had moved to doing it once a month for all their people.
Right.
And so
Just in case you
they were kind of doing that with us too, but, you know.
Okay.
But otherwise, from the standpoint of, we are having calls from people that it's December, Sheree, and I haven't got my tax bill, but that's okay. I don't mind sending them on to, the county, but, you know, it's just people not understanding. And that would be something to post again, that Union County collects for the village. Because we are, especially, business property tax. People are not, you know, they're just like, I'm not getting a bill. And so it's generated a lot of calls. It's just this one time learning, so we're.
Stormwater, Christopher Channel update.
Okay, so Christopher Channel, we are, all the engineers been finalized finally, and of course it has started to rain. So we'll see how that works out. We need 3 dry days per section. And we've kind of got the channel divided into sections.
How many sections? Oh.
I think there's,
10.
Five,
I think there's 5,
5 or 6, yeah.
I think at least 5, if not 6.
The final quote that from, and this is just the actual concrete. This is not the engineering or, other, but just the concreting of the channel, and getting it,
Functional.
enhanced is $129,750, which you guys have already approved $150,000. And right now, between engineering and surveying and the contractor, we're still under budget. So we're getting close, but we are under budget at this point. So I'm not asking for any money, which is unusual. So today I finalized, the village is very concerned about the communication lines that run along that channel. They're either above ground or they're so shallow. Even though we've had them marked twice by 811, and I even called and notified Charter Communications. I talked with the municipal contact that I have there, and we've also talked to Windstream, expressing our concerns. We met on site with Union Power and discussed with them. So we're going to, underneath the channel, we're going to run conduit. One is always, electrical's either always white or gray, and I confused those, and I'm sorry. So whichever one is the correct one we will be running anywhere a line goes underneath the channel, one of the major line. We will have conduit run underneath the channel so that Union Power can always repair their line or address any issue that needs to happen. We are also going to do that for the communication groups, to let them know, and I have let them know, we're going to run conduit so that because we know where some of the lines are, we don't know where all of the lines are. We have done everything we can, but I'm sure we're going to unfortunately cut some cable. But when they do the repairs, if they'll run them through the conduit, they'll be fine. And so we'll see how that's going to work. In the meantime, there's 21 homes that are affected, 21 homes in our common area that hopefully tomorrow, I have to admit, I'm so sweet that I melt, so I did not get out in the rain this afternoon and knock on doors and hand them notices. But I have 21 that I will either be physically handing them if they open the door, or I will be taping it with painter's tape to their front door, letting them know that this is going to be happening hopefully over the next 3 weeks, because they are calling for some drier weather, and we are hoping, based on what they're predicting, it's going to be warmer, that we can work. So as long as it's above 40 degrees, we can put that concrete in, and it will cure and do what it's supposed to do. If we have days where it's below that temperature wise, then we can't pour concrete. But there's work that has to be done before that.
What streets do these people live on?
Christopher and Hoover. So there's 21 houses that are impacted, and so they will get notices tomorrow, regardless of whether it rains or not. I'll be out there to do that. But it encourages them to have a plan, especially if they work from home, to either have hotspots, plan to go to the office, or go over here to a local business and access free Wi-Fi, whatever they need to do. But we do recognize it's a problem, but there's no way I can tell you that they're not going to lose some cable.
This is over like a 3-week period.
Mhm. So they need to either, we have requested that they both contact their provider Because we can't call in and say cable was broken, house number 1, 2, 3. But if they will also let the village know, that's, we'll do anything we can do to help them. So that's out there. And if you don't have any other questions on Christopher Channel, then we'll move to the next stormwater. As far as a mapping proposal, so we did the RFQ, council selected the engineering firm for us to use. And we reached out to them. They have provided this, earlier this week, they provided cost that will not exceed $510,000. And we talked to them, Jeremy floated an idea about them self-financing. We'll see. They're very receptive to that. They have given us a couple of options to where it could be paid for over a 4-year period. Staff has also applied for a grant. However, we won't even know if we've been shortlisted on the grant, which would be a 50-50 grant, until February, possibly March of 2025. So that's just, if we could get, anything we could get would be a step in the right direction. We'll be talking about this in January. We'll be sending out information for you all. This is just a FYI that this is kind of where we are with this. Didn't bring it for a decision this time because we got the information so late. I did not want you guys to feel rushed in making a decision because it's a lot of money. And I recognize that. But based on closed session and comments that were made in closed session, you can see the importance of why something like this project needs to happen. Unfortunately, that's not any repairs.
There's gonna be some sort of agreement, right?
Oh, yes, sir. There would be a legal
How
contract.
far are y'all anticipate being off from, dealing with this?
Sheree's point was, Steve wasn't gonna be here tonight, so we certainly didn't want to make a decision.
Were you want to wait till this grant decision is made, or not that long?
Well, it'll be January, so I'm thinking at that point, we may, council could at that point go ahead and approve for us to begin, looking at our options and everything. What we get is the short list, 2025, early February, to see if we even have a snowball's chance. At the point that if we are selected as one of the municipalities, then we have to do a full grant request. And the earliest you'd be looking at receiving any money is 2026, October of 2026.
But that
So-
can be done for money spent retroactively though, right?
That's
Well,
my
and
question.
that has been my question to them. And I'm waiting to hear back.
Is it retroactive then? Or, and I'm not, that was the wrong word. Is it reimbursement?
Well, that's what I'm waiting. I'm trying to get them to tell me. But it was above the pay grade of the person have been talking to.
The other thing now, I was not aware of any idea of getting Eagle to finance it. I need to check on that because that could get very complicated on financial reporting. I'm not sure that would be worth it.
And that may be a bad word. It would be a contract over a 4-year period. It would be due
Where we
and
would
payable.
pay,
Yeah, the contract was set out when the payments are due, so one of their options they produced was
That's creative.
a January and July payment of, say, $50,000 each, whatever it would be. For the next 4 years.
Well, and in that, down that line, could it be something where you set up, and I don't know how you would divide it, but have, like phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 or something like
Yes.
that?
It is in
It
phases as
would be
well.
in
And I don't know,
phases.
is that like, this section of the village and that I don't know how you would
Yes.
break it up.
matter of fact, there's a discussion underway of basically dividing the village into 4 pieces. And so all of phase 1 and then all of phase 2.
I think that contract might be one of my technical I will look at too, so if you can, as much,
Right.
sometimes I'm real Johnny on the spot, other times I'm not.
Well, and
So, as
all
quickly
of
as you can get
this,
it to me.
yes, sir, all of this is part of why we're not having a more in-depth discussion tonight on this, is because I did not wanna there was no way to have all the pieces together.
Yeah.
So I'm not pushing that.
Given all that, then would you wanna not do it in January and just wait until February, because then you'll know a little bit about the grant possibility?
Based on where we are in February, if, as long as they will make this grant retroactive, and I will know that, then we'll know whether we discuss January or February from the standpoint of when we can start and everything.
Because if they don't retroact it, you would be looking for possibly some action
Yes,
to move forward with the program.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is it really matter if we do it in January or? can we
Well,
just wait?
you have to remember, Cheryl, just because council says, yes, we want to do this, there's a lot that's got to go in on the backside to be able to move. It's not like we're going to approve, let's say, I don't even know when the council's next meeting, January 15th, and they start on the 16th. There's a lot that's got to go in to being ready to do everything. So it's gonna take us a while. By the time we get the contracts and everything, it's gonna take us a couple months before we can even start. But I don't have enough information at this point to ask for anything. It's just a pure FYI. Next slide. So I don't know if any of you went by and looked at during the Drive Pro process of the soil injections. They went well. It was fascinating to be able to look on video, and I did send you guys a little clip that everyone could look at to just kind of see how that worked. I also have a sample of the product that goes in the ground and hardens in my office, if you'd like to see that before I throw it away. But I did say that just so everyone could kind of see, because it was very informative. And then the pet waste station has arrived. Lucas Lawn and Landscaping is going to assemble the box and locate it in between Sybil and the walkway on Alden, around Alden Pond, for $200. And then we will start, once they get it assembled and installed, then we will have an increase for that pet waste station. I sent Park and Rec an updated list of all 13 stations. If anyone else is interested in that, I'll be glad to send that to you. But the village currently maintains and operates 13 pet waste stations, if everyone were to cares. So we try to cover the dog poop. But that's where we are with that. And I'm done.
All right, thank you, Sheree. Any other questions for stormwater? All right. Park and Recreation, Christmas tree lighting, I thought we had great weather and great attendance, as you can see from some of the photos there. Deputy Halen did bring Santa Claus in. Everything went well. I thought it was a good event, so appreciate everybody's help and attendance. The garage reorganization, just kind of an FYI, Sheree and Sarah have been out there and thrown away some stuff and got some stuff together. The outside organizations have basically all been asked to declutter, and I think a lot of that probably has happened.
Yes.
Based on what I've seen and heard. And then Will's gonna work on a plan of how to actually rip it all out and put it back in there. So just kind of an FYI of where all that's at. Our next meeting is January 27th, and we'll be so glad to be talking about the 2025 pool season. Planning board, Sheree, anything from that? The meeting was canceled, so any
meeting was canceled. There's not been, any questions or concerns that are floating out there. So, I do have one lady that has expressed an interest in potentially serving as an alternate for the board as a way to get involved in the community. So I'm still looking for people that are interested in that, and so she's gonna come to the January meeting. So if you know of anyone that would be interested in being an alternate, we'd love to have them.
Waste collection, Jim, anything else on that? No. Streets and sidewalks, Bruce?
Okay, big thing we got going on right now is we got problems over on Conifer Circle, where the road is sinking and the manhole is rising, kind of like a reverse volcano. So there's two ways to go with it. We can do a partial patch and repair or do a full overlay. I would think that the full overlay is the better way to go. Just because you do a partial patch and repair, and maybe 4 years down the road, you're looking at another section that's gotta be redone. So to do a full overlay like we did on Carroll Avenue, as you can see, is 90,570. But you also wanna figure about another roughly 3,000 to 3,500 for Eagle Engineering, because they have to monitor what we do in there and the earth and the dirt, et cetera, make sure we don't have to put in excess dirt or fresh dirt. And if we do, that estimate could go up a bit. So say that we're looking at least 96,000, I think is a safe number.
And I just put a note on there, POW bill or appropriate fund balance, it's gotta be one or the other.
Right. Kind of figuring we're gonna go POW bill. I'm gonna talk with Sheree about it. It's gonna be the way to go.
With it being one of our major thoroughfares, it'd be one thing if it was on the street that had 10 houses cul-de-sac. But with it being one of the major thoroughfares, and we know the kind of traffic that goes up and down Conifer and Craft, that was one of the reasons Bruce and I, in looking at and talking about it this afternoon, thought that rather than patch, to go ahead and do it right and get that section taken care of.
Can't give you an idea of when the start date would be if we give
It's
you.
gonna be weather dependent, I
It's gonna be
Yeah.
weather and
just like
and
temperature dependent.
Temperature, yeah,
Yeah.
and we're also looking, because there's more than a 3-inch rise between, the top of the
manhole.
manhole and the road, with the way the road has done, chances are Eagle's gonna be out there telling us, because of the way it's settled and all, we're gonna need to add some gravel
Right,
in there before we can add additional asphalt and all, it's
it's gotta be determined at the time.
yeah,
when
we
everything
won't
is-
know till they get finished milling.
So that overall, as I mentioned, already mentioned Eagle Engineering, and then if we have to put gravel in, that's gonna raise the price even more.
Should we, I don't know where the 7,000, what numbers? Where's
What's
that, where's the 7,000 block for that conference? Is that the other
Oh,
side?
yeah,
Is that-
between, Mother
That's
Teresa
it, right.
And-
and, Grace Court.
Alright.
You said 7,000, I thought you were talking about dollars.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were saying.
What are you talking about, Jim?
I mean, I'm 73, so I was like, where is the 7,000 block? Do any of those, storm drains or anything need any work on those?
There's not a
Storm
storm
drain.
drain from Grace Court all the way to Mother Teresa.
Yeah, it's
I didn't
wild.
believe it. I had to walk up and down the
These
street a couple
these
times.
problems are being caused by your storm drains.
Yeah, there's
I
no storm
guess
drains.
it's not my issue this time.
Bruce, you wanna make a motion for the,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion for,
Can I ask one question first?
no.
Won't you get bids on that for almost $100,000? I would think you would get 3 quotes.
You know, the tough part, if I can say, in trying to get additional bids, we've run into it before where other companies don't want to bother bidding because we're small fish. As far as
So I
I'm
mean, if
concerned.
you go through the process at least, then you can tell your constituents that
We can.
We can.
We got.
I'll give some measure of support to it, because I remember about, it's been 4 or 5 years ago, we had one, and it ended up, we bid it out, y'all bid it out, and it ended up saving like 30 grand. I mean, it was a big difference, whatever that's worth. I know it makes extra work for people.
Make us have a contract there. Policy.
Didn't know what.
The out funds, getting those.
Our purchasing policy,
Yeah, didn't they have to make us have a contract policy for
But-
doing that?
I think it, yeah.
That's fine. We can bid it, but just so you guys know, this is kind of what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Do they,
We'll be back next
I
month.
can't remember when we get to this level two, we're doing contracts on that too, right?
Yeah.
We do contracts on anything over $1,000.
Right. You still gonna do a motion and approve
Make
up
sure.
to 96,000, is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
And we'll get.
So I'd like to make a motion up to 96,000 to take care of the issues over on Conifer, on the 7,000 block, not the $7,000 block.
I'll second the motion.
Bruce made motion, Joe seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Lighting electrical, Joe?
All right, well, the lights for the front entrance, the ones that I was going to order for them did not have the proper mount. The proper ones we need are back ordered right now, which means more than likely there's a new version coming out. So I went ahead and just replaced the bulbs. They're a little bit brighter. They look nice out there, but they're a little brighter and they should last us a while on that. So we should be able to get to the first of the year for that. So that won't be a problem there. We went through electrical pretty good with the Christmas tree lights, or all the lighting this year. Had a couple, had a circuit breaker we had to replace the clock tower and a couple GFIs, but everything's worked pretty good. And everything's got it all up and working, looks great.
Orders review?
Next meeting's gonna be January 20th. We should have all our parking stuff situated so that we can mainly spell out commercial parking a little bit better, so there'll be less questions. I know there was a question about one today, but that one's pretty obvious, but we're gonna spell it out a little bit better for people to understand it a little bit easier.
Technology.
All right, electronic payments. We've, staff Sheree and Sarah have done quite a bit of work on that. We've come up with a way to process credit cards that'll allow us to have a terminal out at the pool. When it's not at the pool, during the rest of the year, it'll be in the office and they can use it to run transactions such as rentals and fishing permits or anything else. They'll be able to run it for that as well. All the fees for the processing fees will all be charged to the resident that's using it, or whoever's using it, whether it's resident or not, will all be charged to them. So we'll be netting the exact amount of money coming in. We won't have to worry about that part of it. The only downside that we do have is that when there's a terminal, that's especially as a wireless terminal, that works through Wi-Fi. So that way it can work out at the pool and everybody can process it, there is a $50 a month fee that we're gonna have to pay because we're just not gonna do enough processing for them to waive that fee. Especially now since we're not collecting our property taxes here. If we were collecting that, that might have been enough to give them an incentive for it, but I don't know how many people process their taxes.
Maybe about 3%.
Yeah, as I said,
It wasn't a lot.
yeah, if you charge more on tax on your taxes, sucks. But yeah, so then we'll have, we can do that. We can set up with that, $50 a month. They've suggested that just to adjust our pricing a little bit, which we can do that with the pool schedule when the pool comes out, and then next year we'll adjust some of our rental rates and everything. It won't take much to cover the $50 a month or $600 a year. So I am going to make a motion for us to enter into the agreement to accept electronic payments with Heartland Merchant Services for the use of credit cards for the village, including the pool.
Second.
George made a motion, Jim seconded, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion
So do
carries.
we also need to break the contract with the old people then?
Yes, but that should not be a problem because the contract, we've been on it more than have never renewed from the time that we started doing
Or
business.
does the council need to approve them? Breaking the contract?
I'll make a motion to sever our contract with, who's the company that we're,
All paid.
with All Pays, payments.
Judge made a motion, Bruce second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
So, with the old people, the money came into a separate bank account. Is this money gonna go into that separate?
We're gonna
bank?
can set it
we're
up
gonna
that way,
set it
sure.
up that way.
Is that the same
Yeah,
one?
that shouldn't be a problem at all to set it up that way.
Video ready?
Okay, I have downloaded several trial versions of, video editing software, and I've looked into Zoom more. We talked last month about the fee of Zoom, and it was a little bit more than what we paid before with it, because I think you said it was $13 or $13.99 a month, this was 15. But however, it doesn't matter, unless people think Zoom's important, Zoom was of no help whatsoever with being able to combine the videos. My problem, in case you don't remember, my problem is that when we go into closed session like we did today, and like we'll do again, like today, we're gonna end up with 3 videos, and they have to be combined together in order to post it, or you put them separately, but then YouTube just does not coordinate things together good with that. So, I've been working with a Windows program that Windows comes with to put the meetings together, but it's very time consuming. It's a slow process. I have found some of the softwares, different softwares do work a little bit differently and a little bit quicker. I am beginning to believe that it might be more the computer than the software. So I'm putting off on that right now. I'm gonna actually try to do it with my computer at work, just to put 2 videos together, see if it works quicker, just to see if it's more of a processing of a computer problem than it is the software, which it may be, because none of them are really making it that quick. And I know these people aren't sitting around that long. You know, we're talking, it takes almost 2 hours for a video to be put together. And I seriously doubt everybody's doing that. So it might even actually just be a computer issue. So I'm just putting that on hold right now. That might be something we'll talk about next month. If I do the software, if we do have to get it, it's about between $100 and $200 a year for the software.
Thank you. Special projects 3.
Yes, the landings have sent to Eagle Engineering a packet for review and feedback. And they're gonna continue to be turned down basically from Public Works until it's not the transformer. Whatever the, it's got a name and I'm drawing a blank, but anyway, until they get this current additional facility.
Substation or something?
Yeah, basically, until they get that up and running, but they're still having a few, they're still going back and forth with a couple of issues in addition to just basic capacity.
Have they cleared sewer, or that's what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. They
You
have
said
not cleared
transformer, I'm
sewer.
thinking power.
No, the transfer.
Transfer substation.
Transfer
Waste
substation.
substation.
Yeah, it's out, originally they were gonna put it on Reed
Yeah, now they
Road.
went out to 18.
Yeah, so that, and it's got I'll have the name next month, but I cannot remember it. But anyway, so until they get that, I don't look for them, well, they won't be approved unless they approve on the condition that this new thing is completed. It has been put out to bid. I don't know, unless they approved it last month's meeting, I don't know that all of that's been approved yet. But anyway, so Eagle is reviewing though, and I also sent to Benchmark, Vaughn Hanson, who is our planning and zoning guru, and requested that he review that project because he carries a different perspective than what the engineer is going to carry. And I also reached out to the urban forester in Union County and asked him to look at all the trees, because Vaughn and I, in talking trees in the driveways that we had told the landings that, we needed them be able to park more cars in the driveways as opposed to on-street parking. That was one of the conditions in the special use permit. they had trees that were gonna be root bound or dead within 10 years based upon what they originally sent. So we asked him to review, great to work with, he sent back some suggestions and all. And we've received that, and, so I'm gonna ask, once I get through this next review with Eagle, which of course, they pay for, we bill them and are reimbursed for that expense. The village it's not costing the village anything. And, so once we get through that, I'm gonna ask the Union County Urban Forester to review their trees one more time. And, we'll go from there. At that point, we'll probably, once we get through those 3, I'll be back at council for you guys to be looking also, but there's no need of us, we can look at things and say, well, we don't think this or that, but at least we'll know. At that point, we've had all the individual specialties addressed, hopefully.
Right. All right. Any questions on that? 17B, discussion and action deemed appropriate on public comment policy. Sharice sent out a late version of that today. One of the changes on that, I think the only change that came out was the timing device having lights. And then there was, did you send out subsequent to Steve's email?
No, but the copy you're looking at has a highlight on page 1. That's the only sentence that we changed. The way it was worded, it could be interpreted that you signed up as soon as Jeremy called the meeting or the mayor called the meeting to order, as opposed to prior to the start of the meeting.
That's what Steve suggested.
That was Steve's suggestion, yes. So that was the only change. I have a timer, and in this one, we do not have one that talks about the timer lights and all, but I found a $15 timer on Amazon that you just turn, basically you turn it like you do a Nest dial, and you just set for however many minutes and it counts down and you can see it. It's due in here on the 15th. When it comes, we'll play with it and see if we like it. And if we don't like that one, we'll try something else. But timers in general, in my mind, I had it set, one of the policies talked about having a green, yellow, red. And when it hit red, you knew the 3 minutes was up. Well, I looked on Amazon. I had my spouse look on Amazon because I thought it was just me being old, and have not been able to find something like that. That's not way more than what we need to pay, in my opinion, what we need to pay for. So if this little timer will work and it'll count down, we'll set it at the end of the table, and when it goes off with, pings or whatever, we'll be done.
Would anybody else have a problem tabling this right now? Because I'd like to look over it a little bit more than what I've had time to look over.
I don't have a problem. I mean, I looked at it, briefly today and a little bit last night, and I didn't really digest the whole thing with the way I feel about it. I don't have a problem tabling.
So y'all want to table till next month?
I'll send a copy to Judy Cole.
She gets her own timer because she goes off in the middle of it.
I don't care what that red light.
Can you really limit it to 12 speakers if you have some very controversial issue and you might have,
I think you can, I think your policy can drive it to however you.
I didn't think.
It also allows for the mayor to consolidate groups into having a speaker. It allows for other additional, its ability. I think there's a provision that open-ended to the council, allowing it to be as long as they want, I think.
At the discretion, yes.
And there's discretion, there's some stop gaps for that. I think you can limit it though, because you could find a situation where you'd be in here for 4 hours.
if the right
I've been there.
situation, you got, and I think you can limit that to some extent.
Yeah, because then they would be the next, and it says in there, you're the next, at the next meeting, you would be given priority if you had asked to speak and.
But it may be something time sensitive. I've been at where it's been like zoning issues and people want to have their say and they are very concerned and
Right.
we
And I
told
think
them, I'm
that's
sorry, you're number 13.
I think you have a general, but see, in that situation, Cheryl, I think you're number 13, there's only 13, well, okay, we're gonna go with 13 tonight.
It's 48 though, then you.
Right, yeah,
You
yeah,
move
I think
on.
there's ways to adjust to circumstances.
First we gotta get 15 people there.
That one meeting.
We had issues where there were so many people, the parking lot couldn't handle it and they were shuttling it back and forth to the Target shopping center.
I mean, I've always envisioned having a problem here, just in terms of the size of the room. Cause I've been to larger jurisdictions too, where it's been packed, so I think you kind of worry about that as it presents itself.
If y'all would have had a policy, you wouldn't have to stay there 4 hours.
We had a policy, but
If you had
I'm
a
not
good
familiar
policy.
with limiting it like that.
Didn't have a timer.
Yeah.
We had one of our council members would go, okay, you have 30 seconds left. And go, okay, you're done. We didn't have a device, but.
Yeah, I kind of, that, we, when Mayor and Sheree and I kind of tinkered with this a little bit, I came from the position of just kind of letting it be loose and letting the mayor kind of use his phone and put a timer on and say, hey, 3 minutes is up, but I think there's a little more comfort with having a timer.
Well, I think it ended up just saying a timing device, right?
Timing device, is that what
So,
that's?
yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
it could be
I
a
mean, if we
phone
don't
or
like that.
whatever.
Right, yeah, you just do whatever you need to. I think one of the things that I smile about related to this is though, even though you have this policy in place, there's a 3-minute limit. Good luck enforcing that with a real, it can be a little challenging, I think. You can tell somebody your time's up, but sometimes it's hard to get them to stop.
I think what this policy does is protects you from abuse of any
Right.
individual who
Right.
just abuse, that you could call point of order and have removed in the meeting
Personal
if you had
attacks.
to. Correct.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
kinds of things,
Right.
profanity.
Well, and it's just not something that you're flying by the seat of your pants. This is a written policy. We've never had a written policy. So as we try to be more and more transparent, there's always been that effect. So this is a way to help. Well, we do have this policy and here it is.
But I am definitely a believer if you haven't had time to digest it, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really didn't
You
get a
should
chance to
take,
look
you
into
should
that
take
at all.
time to digest
And I think the situation it may pertain to, we need to be very important, very careful with.
Right?
So are we done with the,
No, Jim gets it.
No, I'm just looking at the last bullet where it ends, any person who is subject to potential state criminal law violations.
Yeah,
I,
that's a reference to you're asked to stop talking, you won't stop talking, you're asked to leave, you refuse to leave, and a law enforcement officer has to escort you out of here, that becomes trespassing. That's what it does, that's all it's referencing. And I said potential, I think the word potentially is used. I think y'all are probably not gonna try to
yeah, it says potential state.
exact a charge on someone, it's just trying to give it some degree of teeth.
Right?
Yep, that's.
Mark, did you have something?
so on special project, is there any update on the, Station 51 fire department?
I think it's getting close.
Yeah, I'm
They've
guessing.
had problems getting, equipment. I talked to Johnny Blythe probably about a month ago. And he said, Sheree, I'm afraid to tell you anything because I've been expecting this to happen forever and a day. They were waiting on some cabinets that needed to come in so they could be installed and all before the opening, but, he promised me that we would know before before the first fire truck responded. So,
No trucks there, so there's nothing to.
there you
respond.
go. So we're not there yet.
If we see a fire truck backing in there, we're getting close.
Probably turning around.
I know that he's, working on staffing it, so I know they are getting closer. It's just.
Community information, Mark, anything?
Okay, as far as the HOA goes, their annual meeting, which is on this Thursday, December 12th, 7 o'clock at the Central Church at Lake Park, just down the street. The covenant oversights report, there were a total of 53 violations. Probably 75% of them were to do with trash cans being out, unauthorized items like you got a ladder on the side of your house laying out there, and weeds in the driveway and beds. The on-site property inspection, they forgot to change the dates, October 21st and October 22nd.
There's none in December. They don't do it in December.
No, but
So they're
those
not gonna
should
do it till
be-
next October?
No.
Okay, so probably January. And then the architectural report, there were 8 total things for a door, fences, papers and shutters. And they read it, they had their last year's financials audited by James Young. $1,845, and that's pretty much it.
Newsletter information, I know a couple things have been said.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were, but I know that Sheree started out
Yeah.
too.
He said something about
You gotta
taxes.
put the taxes,
Yeah, the taxes.
the 60/40 truck. 60/40 truck,
Go ahead.
the 60/40 truck. you
Yeah,
said.
60/40 trucks,
You also
the
need,
taxes,
you need to remind people with that 60/40 truck, you need to have your trash out by 6:30 AM.
6:30 AM.
Because they start rolling in here at 7 o'clock, they're in here. And we have had a couple where people will say, well,
I didn't get it out there till later.
or they call, they missed my, I'm the only one on the block that they missed.
Put it out afterwards, yeah.
Now, sometimes I'm not gonna say that you didn't drive by and miss it, but
Right.
it's a lot harder to drive by and miss than not being out there.
Yeah.
Sure, do you remember what you and I were talking about the other day that we said we were gonna ask Mark to put into the villager?
Well, you need to put fishing license, because it's time to renew your fishing
Back to the
license.
fish.
A golf
Golf
cart.
carts, thank you.
Golf cart.
Thank
I don't even have
you.
I fell out of one, but I don't even have one.
I had to think about that.
I had that narrow.
You gotta make sure they're properly insured, so.
It's time for golf cart renewals
Right, golf carts and fish. Mhm.
and fish and,
Yeah, just to maybe clarify on the golf cart renewal that it was, I mean, I'm, pretty much everybody already knows, but it has to be, it's not 1 year from when your permit was issued. They end of the calendar year.
It ends, yeah.
Yes,
runs calendar,
Well,
just like
You got it in
your fishing
October, it ends in
permits.
December, tough.
Yeah.
right.
We know.
Um, And you can also remind people about the Christmas trees, how long they have
Oh, yeah, those
to pick up
ones.
Christmas trees. They do have to be totally de-decorated.
Right, yeah.
And the
usually.
week after Christmas, they will pick up trash that is bagged in plastic, if you overflowing from the holiday, they will pick up if it's on the ground in
Bags, yeah.
in bags.
So
That's the only
2 weeks-
time.
2 weeks after Christmas, I think it is.
I thought it was 1.
1 week.
I'll look at my contract again and send you
Put it
that.
up.
And trees.
Better let you know, black and white.
Yeah.
Trees have to be out to the first week in, I think the
February.
last, first week in February is the last. pickup
They'll
of
take the
trees.
last live tree.
Just put it down.
All right, anything else for Mark? If you think of something, shoot him an email.
We'll put the last live there because they're dead. Just-
At this time, is there a motion to go back into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143, 318, 11A6 to consider the qualifications, competence, character, fitness, condition of appointment, or conditions of additional appointment?
You did
And
that all
then
in
do the
one,
public
you
office.
did that all in one breath.
Motion to go into private.
Jim's
session.
made a motion, Bruce seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we have exited closed session. In closed session, council made a motion to approve $500 net bonuses to all 3 staff members. We have $2,600 budgeted in that line item, so Cheryl, if you'll just do the reverse math, to figure out
Mhm.
where it nets 500 and then $100
Mhm.
each and a gift card to the deputies. Anything else, guys? Matt? We appreciate, obviously, we appreciate what you ladies do year round and.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate what you do and just try to show that.
I thought you had to make that an open session.
We can make the motion in closed session, just have to announce it in open session.
Oh, okay.
I confirmed that was the last thing we were in closed session for.
Wouldn't want it to be.
You're back.
We can take action in closed session, just have to announce it in open session.
Correct.
Right, just make sure.
Absolutely.
Make sure.
No, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, see y'all.
All right, council comments, Bruce?
Been a heck of a year for everybody, so good, bad, and indifferent. I hope everybody has a great holiday season, and hopefully the new year coming brings a lot of good things. I think this country and the village and people in it deserve it.
Mark?
Pretty much the same thing. Happy, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. And thank you for all your hard work and pretty much it.
Jim?
Same, and happy holidays to everyone, and looking forward to New Year's 2025 and this January meeting.
Bruce, saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This is Tree, is this from you?
Yes,
Thank you.
it's literally just a little lovely for you guys will all get a kick out of it when you open.
Well, thank you for the thought.
Joe, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for that.
Happy Christmas.
Sure.
Thank you for the bonus.
As always, guys, we appreciate your support. It was very hard for me in closed session because I hate to, in the earlier closed session, because, you know, when they were passing out, giving out money, I'm tighter than a tick, and it's very hard for me when I think that there's still black and white, and there should just be black and white in the world, and it's hard for me to see gray. But I also know in these situations, as we see gray and have to deal with gray, it's sometimes it makes more sense to go gray than it does to spend a ton of money just to prove a point and say no. And I get that, but it sure is hard.
I still think we're gonna be back there anyway, so.
Well, you know, and at the end of the day, we may, but it won't be because we didn't try.
Exactly. Right.
And so we'll go from there, but I did, the options that were given to us was an option that had not been mentioned at all until tonight. Keep from a civil standpoint, and I think that may very well be, unfortunately, have to be the way we go, but we can't be doormats either. But I I tried to keep my mouth shut.
Keyword being try.
I did try.
I appreciate the work that everybody's done, council staff, our contract staff as well. I think we've had a great year. I was in a meeting yesterday in Indian Trail with their manager and mayor, and the manager asked, how long do y'all meet? Or how often do you meet? I said, once a month. He said, are they very long? I said, they didn't used to be. They are. He said, I just wondered how that works. So, anyway, thank you all. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And as Bruce said, hopefully next year will be even better than this one. So.
Yep.
You
You
look at all
gals
the
work hard
accomplished.
and I appreciate it. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that
Marshall
motion.
made a motion. to
Yeah, we
adjourn.
missed the last one.
Bruce seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We did it in your honor. Huh? You said it
Yeah.
in the honor of Mark.